Welcome to Belgro's Funeral Home, where we celebrate life's precious moments. From the moment you enter our doors, you're met with kindness and care. Our reception area is designed to be more than just a waiting room. It is a place of calm, thoughtfully created to ease the weight of grief. In our private conference room, conversations are guided by empathy. Here, our client experience coordinators sit beside you, not just across the table to help plan a service that truly reflects your loved one's story. Whether it's a traditional farewell or a personalized celebration of life, we take time to understand your wishes and offer thoughtful guidance. At the heart of our organization is a dedicated manager who ensures that everything runs smoothly, from the smallest detail to the final farewell. We understand that choosing a casket or a coffin is a deeply personal decision. In our selection room, we provide a calm, respectful environment where families can take their time and explore options that reflect their loved one's life, beliefs, and preference. Our spacious chapel is where memories are honored and lives are celebrated. Designed with serenity and warmth, it provides a welcoming space for families and friends to come together in reflection and remembrance. For families choosing cremation, we offer on-site professional cremation services in a setting that upholds dignity, peace, and confidentiality. Our crematorium offers a seamless and respectful alternative to traditional burial, giving families flexibility while maintaining the highest standard of care.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. It is Monday, the 15th day of September 2025, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it.
And I am Akinlabi Holder. And we're halfway through the month of September. Yes, we're halfway through the month of September, the 9th month of the year. We're almost wrapping up the year, Donna. We're almost getting there. I hope that you out there in TV land, you have gotten your things done. You're ready for this work week. You're ready for this work week, and you're ready to go. Get the children ready, get all your energy up and going. It is the first day of the work week. Let's tackle it with energy and fervor.
And of course, we are happy that you are here with us this Monday morning as you begin your work week. Whether you are having your morning brew, you are in your garden, or you are getting yourself ready for work this morning, we say thank you so much for choosing us and continuing to make us your number one choice for morning show here on the island of Tobago. Before we get into our conversations this morning, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds from Monday, 15 September 2025. A tragic boat incident off Tobago's Nylon Pool has left one man dead and another seriously injured, prompting swift response from local authorities, tourism officials and the British High Commission. Yesterday, tourists from the UK and Caribbean embarked on a catamaran cruise aboard Maestro Del Mar. While anchored at Nylon Pool, the vessel drifted after its anchor rope burst. Captain Ellis John regained control but noticed tampering with the gear. Neil Wilson, 71 of Grenada, swam towards the drifting vessel and was later found lifeless. David Henry, 61 of the UK, was injured by the propeller while attempting to rescue. Police, THA officials and diplomats responded. Investigations and counseling are ongoing. Up next, police are investigating the suspected murder of 64-year-old Franklin Zhu of Bacalet, who was discovered dead in his home with a head wound yesterday. Zhu last communicated with his child's mother via WhatsApp around 9:26 p.m. on Saturday. By midday yesterday, his housemates noticed his door ajar and found him slumped inside with a wound to his head and blood on nearby surfaces. A spent 9mm shell was recovered at the entrance. Police, including homicide investigators and senior officers, responded and are continuing investigations into the incident. And finally, an 18-year-old Venezuelan national, Daniel Ortiz of Shervan Road, is nursing stab wounds after he was attacked yesterday at Storbe by a group of men of African descent. According to police reports, Ortiz was chased, beaten and stabbed 3 times on the right side of his back. He was rushed to the Scarborough General Hospital where it was confirmed he suffered a punctured right lung. He remains in a stable condition. Police investigations are continuing. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Bianna, for our news there in 90 seconds. A series of very unfortunate occurrences here on the island of Tobago, and of course we will have the TTPS in this morning to have conversations. But before we get into that, we head on over to our birthday shoutouts. And we start off the celebrations this morning by saying happy birthday to this lady. Do you know her? If you know her, drop your comments on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel. This is Tashia Grace Boris. She is the Secretary of Tourism, Antiquities, Culture and Transportation. And this morning we are saying happy birthday to you, and we do pray God's blessings upon your life, and we hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday today.
Continue the celebrations by saying happy birthday to Dr. Alimayu Chadban. Happy birthday to you, Dr. Chadban. May God's richest blessings be upon your life, and that you spend this time with family and friends and reflect on all the blessings in your life. We know that he's a well-known physician in this space, particularly in the Black Rock area as well. We wish you God's richest blessings.
We continue by saying happy birthday to Carla Davidson. Carla Davidson is also celebrating a birthday today. And Carla, we do hope that as you enter this new season of your life, that you enter with joy, peace, and love. Happy birthday to you.
Happy belated birthday going out to DJ Saul. Yes, happy belated birthday to you, sir. We know that you have spent your day well with family and friends, and we know that you took the time off to reflect on all the things in your life that are going well and everything that you plan going forward. May God's grace be upon it.
And we round up the birthday celebrations by saying happy birthday to Shelly-Ann Batiste. Shelly-Ann Batiste is also celebrating a birthday today. We say happy birthday to you, and we do pray God's blessings upon your life in this new chapter, this new season. May you find favor, may you find grace and all that you need to continue walking in purpose. Happy birthday to you, Shelly-Ann Batiste, and this is coming from the entire congregation at Victory Outreach Church and all of KMII saying happy birthday to you. We know you as Minister Shelley, so happy birthday to you today. And of course, if you are celebrating, even if we do not have your photographs, we still join in the celebration with you, and we remind you to put God first, because He is the sole reason why there's anything for us to celebrate. All right, Akilabi, it's Monday morning. Who are we having conversations with in studio this morning?
This morning, Adana, we're having conversations with Sergeant Emmanuel York of the TTPS, and he's coming in to give us the TTPS updates. And we're going to have an extended interview with him to talk about observing the behavior of children. And after that, we're going to have in Miss Anjana Dongs, who's a marketing representative of the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited, and she's coming in to speak about the Soca Titans competition.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we do hope that you could stay with us as we have these conversations. Remember, you can leave your comments on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel at Tobago Updates. We want to hear from you. We want you to be a part of the conversation. We also want your opinions on discussions we have right here in studio. So whether you are viewing far or wide, we welcome you this morning, and we do hope that you could stay throughout the entire programming. For those of you viewing on AMPLIA 102 or Flow 120 or 131, we say welcome, 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 welcome. And our Facebook and YouTube viewers from far and wide, we also say welcome to you. We have to go for a short break before we begin conversations here in studio, and as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
How it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy, for queens who know exactly what they want.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
moving from place to place, place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Before we begin our conversation this morning, as you remember, we mentioned that it is the birthday of a special lady, Estashia Grace Burris. It's her birthday today, and guess what? We're going to listen this morning to her presentation at the opening of the October Carnival 2025. So stay tuned and listen to this message.
Permit me to stand on the protocol that has already been so beautifully established by the speaker before me. But I would like to add a special good night to the executive members of our stakeholder interest groups who are here, Tobago, TUPO, the Tobago Promoters Association, and TOCA. I would also like to say a special good evening to the chairman of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce Tobago Division, Mr. Curtis Williams. But most importantly, I would like to say a special good evening to all artists, cultural practitioners, and most importantly, carnival lovers near and far. Welcome and good evening. Good evening. All you eating it? All you drink? They have rum here? Good evening. Tonight we are not just heralding the start of a festival. We are unveiling a story of how Tobago dared to dream, dared to innovate, and dared to create a carnival that is uniquely our own. When we introduced Tobago October Carnival in 2022, this administration took a bold step. There were questions, a wide range of conversations, there were challenges, and there was uncertainty. But there was also vision. A vision to position Tobago not just as a carnival destination, but as a cultural capital with its own voice, rhythm, and identity. And what a journey it has been. In just 3 short years, Tobago October Carnival has grown from a fledgling idea into a signature event on the Caribbean calendar. It has delivered impact, it has sparked pride, and it has proven that when Tobagonians set our minds to something, we make it happen and we make it exceptional. The results speak for themselves. Since its inception, October Carnival has generated tens of millions of dollars in visitor spend, bringing real returns to our hotels, guest houses, restaurants, taxi drivers, artisans, designers, and the many small businesses that fuel Tobago's economy. This festival has not only entertained, it has empowered, it has employed, and it has enriched. We are also proud to say that the Tobago October Carnival has maintained a 99% safety record. That is no small achievement. It is the result of dedicated planning, collaboration with law enforcement, and collective responsibility of our people and our visitors to revel in paradise and revel safely. Safety is not an afterthought. It is a promise, and it is a promise that we intend to keep. But October Carnival is more than just a local celebration. It is a global brand in the making. Our international marketing activations have carried the heartbeat of Tobago to the world. From the bright lights of Times Square in New York, to the cultural showcase of CariFesta 15 in Barbados, to the vibrant community of Toronto, Canada for the Tobago Toronto Festival. Each activation has spread the message that Tobago is not just a place to visit, it's a place to experience, a place to feel, and a place to remember. These efforts have already opened new markets in our international spaces, building anticipation and recognition for Tobago's October Carnival. Alongside these milestones, we have witnessed other successes worth celebration. We have seen record participation from bands and designers who continue to push the boundaries of creativity. We have hosted competitions and events that have showcased our local talent, giving young artists, DJs, and performers a chance to shine. And we have welcomed visitors who year after year leave with a renewed love for Tobago and a promise to return. Let me also take a moment to acknowledge the significant investment of the Tobago House of Assembly in this festival. Over the past 3 years, the THA has invested over $33 million to ensure the growth, sustainability, and stability of the October Carnival. This year, we reaffirm our commitment with continued support because we believe in the power of this festival to transform Tobago's economy and cultural landscape. I also wish to sincerely thank our partners and sponsors, B-Mobile, Republic Bank, Caribbean Airlines, Blue Heron Establishment, Heavens Designs, TTT, Holiday Snacks, AMPLIA, Flow, Tobago Updates, Guardian Media, the Trinidad and Tobago Carnival Bands Association, and for the first time this year, Tempo Networks and the National Carnival Commission with a commitment of support from the Ministry of Culture and Community Development. I humbly thank those who have been with us from inception for your unwavering support and belief in the Tobago October Carnival product. I stand here also extending a request for support from the business sector both in Tobago and Trinidad. I encourage you to find ways to support the festival, whether through sponsorships of bands or events. All contributions are welcome, as we see this event as the perfect opportunity to demonstrate the benefits of public and private sector partnerships and to grow our tourism, creative, and cultural sectors. This evening, I am pleased to make a special announcement. The Tobago House of Assembly will be launching a tourism and creative sector grant program. This initiative represents our investment in the entrepreneurs who drive our creative and tourism economies, particularly those involved in the business of Carnival. We are making $2 million immediately available to support these entrepreneurs in time for this event. Grants of up to $30,000 will be made available for businesses that qualify, as well as a loan component with a ceiling of up to $250,000. This program will be administered by the Business Development Unit under the Division of Finance, Trade and the Economy, and it signals our commitment to empowering our people, strengthening our industries, and ensuring that the benefits of Carnival are widely shared among all stakeholders. But even as we celebrate our progress, I want to pause and offer a gentle caution. Let us not allow the conversations around October Carnival to be consumed by individual agendas or narrow interests. This festival is bigger than any one person, any one group, and any one sector. Its strength lies in our creative efforts and shared vision. As we grow, we must guard against losing sight of the traditions, the stories, the cultural essence that makes our carnival truly Tobagonian. Success must never come at the cost of authenticity. Instead, let us move forward together, unified, respectful of each other's roles and of our heritage, and committing to building something that will outlast us all. At the same time, let us recognize the unique stage that Tobago offers the world. Tobago October Carnival invites not only our people, but the global community to play a mass on one of the most iconic carnival routes anywhere. In our very first incarnation, we welcomed Grenada, and together we witnessed the spectacle of their jab-jab and traditional mass, a cultural exchange that deepened our understanding of the region. This year, we extend the invitation far and wide to Junkanoo from the Bahamas, to the Warangara and Karikanari masqueraders from Belize, to the big drum and shortney traditions of Carriacou and Grenada, to the fancy Indians of St. Vincent, to all our famous mass traditions from Trinidad, and to the many other keepers of ancestral mass across the Caribbean and beyond. Tobago may be just 116 square miles, but it is a paradise that offers the world a stage. And we intend to fill that stage with the best of tradition, creativity, and performance. So as we step into 2025, we do so with pride and purpose. This year's theme, Mud, Mass, Music, captures exactly what October Carnival is about. Mud grounds us in history and heritage, connecting us to the rituals of freedom and the joy of release. Mass showcases the creativity, artistry, and storytelling that make Carnival the greatest show on earth. Music, the beats at the core of it all, uniting us, moving us, and making us come alive. Together, these three elements are not just a theme, they are a promise that Tobago October Carnival 2025 will be bolder, bigger, and better than ever. But we cannot stop there. As we look ahead, October Carnival must be part of a wider vision. A vision of Tobago 2030. A destination where culture and creativity sit at the heart of tourism. Where events like October Carnival drive year-round activity. Where every Tobagonian has an opportunity to benefit from the industries of art, design, entertainment, and hospitality. By 2030, Tobago should not just be known as a place of beauty, but also as a place of innovation, culture, and celebration. October Carnival is our launching pad, a symbol of what is possible when tradition meets imagination and when pride meets purpose. And so tonight, I invite you, come, celebrate with us as we go in right down till we lie down. From signature events like Dream, Pink Fest, Pow, and Comfort Inn, Soca All Inclusive, to Pan and Powder and Pan Omega, to our junior and senior Calypso Monarch and Soca Titans, to the explosive climax with our Dirty Juve, Night Mass, and Pretty Mass. Our ferries are already sold out. We are just waiting on Caribbean Airlines to come through with the extra flights. So I'm putting our plug publicly for those extra flights to drop. Come and experience mud, mass, and music. Come and feel the power of a festival that is growing stronger, safer, and more spectacular with every passing year. Because this is Tobago's October Carnival, and Tobago belongs to us. And together we are building not just a festival for today, but a legacy for tomorrow. I thank you.
I send in a big, 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 big dirty bun for you. Better than them. And I have a big, 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 big dirty bun for you. So you better don't run, don't run, don't run. Come on, fun, I say don't run, don't run, don't run. Good morning, Bacchanal. How do you do? It's very critical. Talk to you, but it's a long, 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 long road. I'm going down. Carnival is my time, I beat and roll.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today. The buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Take your shot with Junior K.
Always with the introductions, as you see. And of course, we're on television. Big up to my boy Saki. We just complete.
I saw that. So we didn't have a choice. We had to call it.
Good. So, Carnival.
I say, warn them. Hey, I get to know.
Baba boy, don't run. Me God, we are the last man.
Alright, you got a drink, bro?
Drinking liars.
Enjoy. Take your shot on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share.
Quartz is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Quartz Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Quartz Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
Tobago Updates Television recognizes women in business. Every Thursday morning on The Morning Show, we engage with women-owned and operated businesses from right here in Tobago. We'll discover these women, their businesses, what inspired their business, their highs and their lows, and their encouragement to you. Join me, your host, Adana Kambi, this and every Thursday on The Morning Show from 7:40 a.m. as we celebrate and encourage women in business.
was essentially the main catalyst which drove Frenzy Mass. I mean, all of us would have do a lot of things together. And this was just the next step now, evolution. We lime, we party, so why don't we take all of that and bring it into Tobago, into a form of mass where we could go on Gallivant and do the same thing where other people could see what we do it on a bigger stage.
But at this point in time, I think Frenzy is important to me, so I decided to put some energies there. It's our first year, Tobago Carnival, you know, we now partner with Iconic Mass, and it's our first time, so I felt like, yeah, just see, come and really stamp your name and make that presence from the mass side of things. So that's the vibe, Frenzy Mass, really excited for Tobago this year.
Love to see the girl bend over. Suck me, girl. Arch your back, arch your back. Stop arching. Suck me, girl. Arch your back, arch your back. Say 1, 2, tie up the shoe. 3, 4, bend back more. 5, 6, no time for tricks. Wine like a feeling for sticks. So I want you bend like a forget to cream your leg. Hold on by your ankle them. Not just you, girl. You want your friend, you want your friend.
Ride me, girl, and wine, in Frenzy Mass. Watching how that is what I was seeing. Rocking it slow. That is what I was seeing.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Springs. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning by speaking with a member of the TTPS, Sergeant Emmanuel York, and this morning he's going to bring the crime updates as it relates to things happening here on the island of Tobago. Good morning, Sergeant, and welcome.
Good morning, Adana. Thanks for having me. Good morning to the viewers.
Of course, it's always a pleasure speaking with members of the TTPS, sometimes bittersweet. And this morning, we're getting straight into the conversation because, as we are aware, viewers, there was a lot of activity on the island, especially yesterday. You know, so many things happened during the 24 hours that we had yesterday, and I know the police had to respond to those calls. So can you please just give us some updates with the three major events that took place on the island yesterday, one by one?
Well, the morning started with a shooting incident at the Tobago beach facility, right? Where persons got into an argument and someone fired a shot at somebody else. what I'm glad to report is that we did apprehend the person who was the person involved in that shooting incident, and one firearm was retrieved from him. So we are glad for that one, right? We also had coming out of that, we had a incident where someone was stabbed, right? So we got that stabbing, and then we went on later in the day. There's an incident at the Buko Reef, the park there, where a visitor went off the boat and he subsequently drowned, right? Someone went to assist him and got into a mishap, and he got his leg damaged, right? He's still at the hospital undergoing treatments. And to crown off the day, we had a murder at the Bacalet area, where one man was fatally shot. That would presently now bring the amount of murders we have in Tobago for the year to 6. Right? On behalf of the TTPS, I must say our sincerest condolences to the family of the person who died. Right? But I also must take this opportunity to give praise and thanks to the members of the Homicide Bureau and the other persons in the Tobago division. Because of the 6 murders we have, 4 of them has already been served on persons before the court. Right? So I continue to ask the persons in the Tobago, if you see something, say something. If you have any information that would assist us in solving these murders, please give the information. If you don't want to be known, give it confidentially, and we would treat it that way. So at the end of the day, well, 1 murder is too many for us. We would love to have the day that we have 0 murders at all.
That's right. Sergeant, you mentioned that an arrest was made for the first incident that took place on the island. Has there been any arrest made for the fatal shooting that took place in Bacalet? Any arrests made?
No, that investigation is ongoing. An arrest has not been made in it as yet, but it is an ongoing investigation.
And do you have any leads on it? I'm not asking you to expose your leads, but do you have any leads on it?
Well, whatever leads we have, the Homicide Bureau is actively following up on those leads. And as the time goes by, they will be able to give information as they see fit at the times that they see fit.
All right. And the firearm that was retrieved in the first incident, is the firearm was retrieved from a licensed firearm?
No, it was an illegal firearm. The person had that firearm illegally.
Okay, and that person was arrested?
Yes, he was arrested.
All right.
Okay, so Sergeant, we see that there has been a great reduction in crime and violence, particularly murders on the island of Tobago. And you said that within the 6 murders on the island thus far, 4 of them have been solved and the persons are before the court. And 2 murders are still ongoing. Well, I suspect that one of them was the one from yesterday.
Yes, one is the one from yesterday.
And which one is the other one that's ongoing? Are you able to say?
I wouldn't be able to say that right now, but just know that we have solved 4 of the 6, and we have 2 outstanding.
So we see that there's been a large sense of success in reducing the amount of murders from last year in comparison to last year. Could you just speak in terms of the TTPS's actions and their initiatives to bring that reduction about?
All right. The TTPS, under the stewardship of ACP Tobago and Senior Superintendent Eli, has embarked on a lot of initiatives that are geared towards reduction of serious crimes on the island, right? You would see that we have our brothers from Trinidad who comes to Tobago, well, to assist us in these crime fighting initiatives, right? We have put mechanisms in place where we have more robust activities going at these persons who are known to be involved in these types of offenses, and that has borne fruit, right? So we have seen from those initiatives the reduction that we have today.
You know, I want to go back, if permit me, to the first incident yesterday. You also mentioned coming out of the shooting that there was a stabbing as well. Is there any update on that? Has that person been identified and also arrested, or what was the situation where that is concerned?
No, that person has not been arrested, but I wouldn't want to speak much on it because, as I say, it's an ongoing investigation now, and I would not want to put anything out there to cause any interruptions in the investigation that is ongoing.
All right. So as we continue, as Akilabi mentioned, as we continue to fight crime here on the island of Tobago, and partnership with communities, of course, are increasing. And as you mentioned, of course, your colleagues come across from Trinidad to strengthen our numbers here in Tobago and strengthen the strategies that you're putting in place. How have you been able to assess in terms of, or to measure rather, the successes that you've been able to achieve as a result of those collaborative efforts?
Right, and well, as Akila had mentioned, we have seen it, right? We have seen the reduction in the serious crimes, we have seen the reduction, and most of the time serious crimes, or crime on the whole, is measured by the amount of murders you have or don't have, right? And we have seen a drastic reduction in the amount of murders and violent crimes on the island. So we know that the initiatives are working.
And you know, that's a thing, you know, I really want to go in on this because I know Tobago has been a peaceful place for a number of years. Like, we grew up in Tobago and we know we could leave your front door unlocked and you walk away, you could go by the neighbor and you're good to go. But in recent times, we've seen that we have to beef up security in our own properties and stuff like that. And last year, we had a very unfortunate and unprecedented number of murders, especially coming down to the end of the year, and attributed it to, you know, the gang relations, right? And so we came into 2025, we've seen a drastic reduction. Is it that your assessment of the situation last year in terms of what was happening, the strategies that you implemented were targeted to that specific group of people that is causing now that reduction in murders on the island, would you say?
That would have been part of the reason for certain strategies put in place, right? As I said, I wouldn't want to talk into some of the things that we are doing, but we look at everything holistically, and we target certain operations. So we plan operations to target certain operations. So that we would have done, and that has caused a reduction in murders and violent crimes on the island.
You know, my co-host it's like we're thinking the same thing, because I wanted to talk about the TTPS's success in breaking up the activities of these gangs, because we know, like my co-host said, it was gang-related activities. So is it more of an ability to suppress the gangs, or have you been able to dismantle some of the gangs on the island?
Right. What I could say is that some of the activities from these gangs come from within the confines of the prison in Trinidad, right? And with the recent state of emergency that has been put in place, right, that has targeted certain persons, right? And with that targeting of those persons, it has also assist us in causing a reduction in the serious crimes that we have.
Okay.
All right. Well, I mean, you know, I am hoping that we continue to get breakthrough in terms of fighting crime, and not just that Tobago could return to the place where we really feel comfortable. I'm not saying to leave your doors unlocked, because we know times are changing, but we could feel comfortable enough to not have to walk and look over your shoulder. You know, like if you're walking home in the evening and you hear footsteps behind you, you're thinking it's just somebody else walking home too. You don't have to think perhaps this person is trying to do something to me. So we're hoping that will happen, and we're calling on the communities across Tobago to continue to partner with the TTPS to ensure that we are, you know, we also have a responsibility. So if you see something, say something. If you're suspicious of something, you're uncomfortable about something where you reside, you can always contact the TTPS or all the other agencies who are here to protect and serve with pride. We have to go for a short break, and when we come back, we will continue conversations with Sergeant Emmanuel York as we switch gears a little bit, talking about our very own children. So in the meantime, as we go for this break, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We continue conversations this morning in studio with Sergeant Emmanuel York of the TTPS, and we switch gears and topics. This morning we want to talk about the importance of the parents' roles in the behavior of their children. So a very specific topic this morning, very interesting. In terms of, we've seen behaviors of children in schools, we've seen them in the streets, even recently we've seen where this very mall had to put restrictions on school children being in here without the accompaniment of parents. So let's get into the conversation from the TTPS standpoint in terms of their observations and of course recommendations in terms of how do you, what is the role of the parents and how do you manage your responsibility as a parent in terms of how your child behaves?
Now, we must understand that the children, they mimic. And the first person they would mimic would be their parents, right? We have seen and heard persons would say that person looks just like his father, that person walks like his father, he talks like his father, he operates like his mother. So children would mimic the parents because these are their role models. You, the parents, you are the role models for the children. So they would tend to want to be just like you. So when you have a child and you are behaving in a particular manner in the presence of the child, that child would believe that that sort of behavior is acceptable because mommy is doing it or daddy is doing it, so it is an acceptable behavior. All right, let's take for instance, a child comes home and says the teacher disciplined them for something, and the mother or the father goes off on a tangent and starts quarreling and making noise, but they will go to the school and what they will tell the teacher, what they wouldn't do to the teacher. The child is empowered. Mm-hmm. So when they go to school, you can't tell me anything because my mother said. Right? Now, the parent could, on the other side, say, well, what was the reason for the discipline that the teacher gave to you? Well, I would find out about it without making any quarrel, and they simply go and find out. John said that you had to discipline. What was the reasoning for it? And have a dialogue with the parent, with the teacher, right? So they would see that behavior as that the parent is have a responsibility and respect for authority, right? And when we have to understand that when you behave in that particular manner towards the teachers, you are in essence playing down authority because the teachers is the authority figure in the schools, right? So when you teach your child not to have respect for authority because you, the parent, don't have respect for the authority of the teachers in the school, then that child would grow up and they would see the type of behaviors that we're seeing from students outside there, because they know that mommy or daddy is, how to put it, that they accept this sort of behavior because they portray this sort of behavior.
And you know, it's very unfortunate, and it goes back to the old adage, it takes a village to raise a child. And I remember growing up, you just had to fall in line. And I saw something on social media just this morning. It says, when I was growing, this is somebody expressing their thoughts, that they said that when they were growing up, they thought that, you know, parents of our time were very, very strict. But they've come to know now as an adult that our parents literally saved our lives with the way they were strict and the way that they brought us up. And I'm seeing now in our culture and our societies that the parents are relaxing their responsibilities. Is it due to the fact that now we are seeing younger parents and we're seeing that the grandparents are also younger, so they are still in the workforce? Because, you know, back then, when your parents are out to work, they would leave the children with the grandparents during the vacation period, and the grandparents, of course, will discipline them because the grandparents back then, they were really, really strict. So is it that we have a fallout in society where we don't have that gap to bridge between the young parents now not having their parents home to manage their children or to help them, rather, to instill, you know, the things that we got when we were growing up?
Right. Now, back in the time when we were growing up, we had the extended family, right? So even though mommy or daddy isn't around, there's an aunt or an uncle or a grandmother who would be around. to instill these particular values that the family lives by. Right? And we could remember that you would be able to say what type of person a person would be by knowing who their family was, because you know of the morals that this family has. Right? But what we see now, we see that basically everybody has to work. Back in those times, if you could recall, the household basically had one breadwinner. So mommy basically is always at home as a housewife, looking after the children and keeping the house, right? But now both parents are working. So from the tender age of sometimes as little as 8 months, 6 to 8 months, that child is sent off to daycare. From daycare, they go into preschool. From preschool into primary, then on to secondary. So that bonding that we used to have before, it is not there as much anymore. Sometimes the parents come home and they're tired. So they just do what little they have to do to get the child bed ready, and then they're off to bed. So that period of time to work with the child is not there. So what we need to have is that all the facets of society to come together and take a responsibility in bringing up these children. We're talking about the parents themselves. They need to take their responsibility serious. We're talking about the community. We're talking about the church. We're talking about the school. We're talking about family. All the different arms in society needs to come together to assist the children in growing up. Because remember, they are the future. What we have as children now, 15 to 20 years down the road, they are going to be us. They are going to be the ones who are in charge of all the decision making in Trinidad and Tobago.
So Sergeant York, we're speaking about the role that family has in growing a child up and shaping their behavior and their mindsets. Just speak to us that how this lack of attention to raising our children properly is impacting society and is manifesting in the types of behaviors that police officers are observing and having to deal with within our schools in particular.
Right. Now, as I spoke about previously about the morals that are embedded in children, right? There's a Bible quote that says, raise a child in the way that he ought to be and he will not depart from it. And if they do not get that upbringing from the family, from home, they will get it from somewhere else. And where is it somewhere else? They will get it from out on the streets, right? And these young people are susceptible to peer pressure. And if you do not have a good standing, a good background, you will succumb to peer pressure. And this is what happens to a lot of these young people. They do succumb to the peer pressure and make decisions that would harm them later on in life.
And you know, we're between a rock and a hard place, because you did mention that now both parents are working and by the time they get home they really are exhausted, and so the time to invest in the child. So now we collectively as a society, we have to look at measures that we could put in place to provide that measure of support to our children. We have to find out ways, because you can't just say, well, I'm tired and I go in my bed. Right? We have a generation to raise up, and as you mentioned, the scary thing is this generation is going to be the one making the decisions for when I become pensionable age, you know, and so we want to ensure that we have a secure future. So what is the discussion now, or what are, you know, some of the things you're thinking of, or the discussions that are being had around strategic tables in terms of how would a society come back to a place where we can provide that measure of support to the child from as early as, or intervene where necessary to ensure the child is now in a balanced position. They can make independent, responsible decisions rather than fall into peer pressure, because we want the peer pressure to be the minority and we want the majority of our children, if not all of them, to be very responsible in terms of standing on some type of principles and making decisions that will impact their lives and others around them positively. So what are we talking about here?
Right. You would see, and the police service has started it a few years back when we started with the police youth clubs. Right. We have active police youth clubs in Tobago, and we are advising parents to bring the children, bring them to the police youth clubs. We would assist we cannot put all the morals in them, but we would assist to guide them in the path that they should take that would ensure that they are more upstanding persons in society, and they could even assist their peers who are not in a police youth club to let the peer pressure be on the other side. Instead of be peer pressure for the bad thing, be peer pressure to come and do something good with your life. So we have embarked with the police youth clubs. Police officers are going to schools, they are having little lectures with students in the schools. Right? I have even spoken to the principals in a few of the schools, in the secondary schools in the Scarborough area, and we have put things in place that we would be going to the schools and having a conversation with the children during the assembly, having that sort of conversation to show them where they need to go, the paths that they need to take in life, right? And to have a closer relationship with the schools and the students in the school to sort of keep down that negative behaviors that they tend to display.
And to also show that measure of support to the children, because realistically, children come from all different types of backgrounds, right? And sometimes we only attend to, we are reactive to situations rather than being proactive. And so as the partnership continues and conversation continue, we're hoping that we could go to the root of some of the causes, provide support in the home itself, provide support to the parents, have conversations, counseling, recommendations, referrals, all these types of things we need to have to ensure that the family comes back to a place where it is balanced, because life is hard, Life is ongoing and it is tough, and there are many demands that a lot of people cannot cope with on their own. So we need to ensure that we create communities of support for parents, teachers, children, society in general, so that we can continue to thrive together and live, peaceably with each other. Sergeant York, thank you so much for joining us this morning and bringing that conversation to us. A very, very important and relevant conversation in the times that we are at. When you think about the generation now being the leaders of tomorrow, we really have a lot of work to do to make sure that we could bring them up to scratch so that they can. There are a lot of persons who are promising it. There are quite a few young people now who are really thriving and they understand their responsibilities, but there are those who need our help. So viewers, we are asking, if you live in a community somewhere and you see somebody going off key, take them in your arms, have a little conversation, invite them for a cup of tea and have a chat with them. That's how they used to do it back in the day. If an older person saw you walking and you were going astray, they would pull you in line. Let's see if you could get back to those places. Join a community group, join an activist group, and ensure we have our young people, our children, and even our parents in our bosoms. Give them some love, some guidance, and some support. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have to end the morning show today, but it's not where we end our programming. We head on over to GMT, which is Good Morning Tobago, and we are asking that you stay with us. And as you stay, of course, we invite you to help us. Share the live,
share the live, share the live.
Because oncology is an illness that most people think is the end of life, and oh gosh, your family member is dying, there are a lot of support for patients. Therefore, a lot of patients, relatives, friends, and well-wishers follow them to clinic. The building that we now exist in is really small. We have 6 chairs in the waiting area, and then we cannot accommodate patients and relatives. If it rains, relatives have to find their cars. The sun is too hot, relatives have to find under trees. This situation was untenable. Therefore, the proposed move is welcome. I've been to the place, I've visited. The ambience is good. I know there is some construction to be done to make it fit for purpose at this time. And I do believe and I do feel that move, we will be able to enhance the care we give in various ways, because then we have space. Relatives will be able to come and sit with patients. That kind of intimate support will be there. For me, if I have to say yes or no to the move,
I would have said yes in 2012, 2013, thereabout, when the population started growing. That is after we had started in 2010, and patients knew that we had services available in Tobago, and they start migrating from Trinidad. Definitely, patients, relatives would be happy. Patients would be happy. Staff would welcome, because the unit is definitely tight. You can't move a wheelchair around the unit. There's one patient toilet. The situation is not good as it is.
About 40 years ago, I got into an accident, and I was a blow. It's terribly stuff now. And I had a scar. And I was always conscious of feeling the scar. So one day I felt it a little uncomfortable. And I started to check it, until I decided to have a checkup. The doctors and the nurses and again, they were really nice. You could see they were operating under duress. The place was uncomfortable, inadequate, not comfortable to sit for privacy, and you know what you this cancer. Because you're doing it and you want to service, you go. If it was for any other reason, you would have looked for somewhere else to go. But they needed and they need to be approved.
This is where, for instance, if I have to speak to a family about what's going on with a patient, I have to have the patient and all the relatives in this space. It's not really conducive to that sort of conversation, especially if the news is not good. Normally after chemotherapy, we want to see you a week later to see how you're going and check your blood count, and then a lot of times that's a second journey to St. James. A lot of people would just disappear for 3 weeks, and we hope we see them when the next treatment session comes around. It would allow for patients to, one, have a bit more privacy, and even have a relative come and spend some time with them while they're doing their treatment, if the treatment is going on for hours. Having greater privacy would make people at least more at peace to know that, you know, just because I show up at that building, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is what I have. Treatment in a more beautiful environment, a more calming environment, could only make things easier for patients. They're going through enough as it is, just with the illness and diagnosis, and coming to grips with that.
I'm so happy to know that you are doing something about it, because it's about time.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. This morning we have a number of topics and discussions that we're going to be bringing your way. But before we get into that, let's have our news in 90 seconds. A tragic boating incident off Tobago's Nylon Pool has left one man dead and another seriously injured, prompting swift response from local authorities, tourism officials, and the British High Commission. Yesterday, tourists from the UK and Caribbean embarked on a catamaran cruise aboard Maestro Del Mar. While anchored at the Nylon Pool, the vessel drifted after its anchor rope burst. Captain Ellis John regained control but noticed tampering with the gear. Neil Wilson, 71, of Grenada, swam towards the drifting vessel and was later found lifeless. David Harry, 61, of the UK, while attempting to rescue him, did receive injuries from the propeller. The THA officials and diplomats responded and investigations are currently ongoing. Additionally, police are investigating the suspected murder of 64-year-old Fang Lin Zhou of Bacalet, who was discovered dead in his home with a head wound yesterday. Zhou last communicated with his child's mother via WhatsApp around 9:26 p.m. on Saturday. By midday yesterday, his housemates noticed that his door was ajar and found him slumped with a wound to his head and blood on nearby surfaces. On the entrance, police noted that there was a 9mm shell that was recovered, including homicide investigators and senior officers responded and are continuing investigations into this incident. And finally, an 18-year-old Venezuelan national, Daniel Ortiz of Chauvin, is nursing stab wounds after he was attacked yesterday at Tobago by a group of men of African descent. According to police report, Ortiz was chased, beaten, and stabbed 3 times on the right side of his back. He was rushed to the Scarborough General Hospital, where he was confirmed to be suffering from a punctured lung. He remains in stable condition and police are currently investigating. This is on news in 90 seconds. This morning we are going straight ahead into our conversation, and we may touch a bit on some of the things that we've seen in our news in 90 seconds, but primarily we are chatting this morning with Mr. Curtis Williams, who is the chairman of the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Good morning, Mr. Williams, and welcome.
Morning to your viewers and listeners.
There's a number of things that we could touch on this morning, but we want to start off a bit by talking about what's happening in the Carnival space in Tobago. We're in September, and we have Carnival in just a few short weeks. We have October Carnival here on the island. Now, there's a threat to the success of that festival by the fact that there may not be enough flights, seats, or transportation to get to the island. Good morning again. Talk to us.
Yes, definitely. What we heard about the availability of flights and also ship sailing, and we spoke to the Port Authority. They did add 11 additional sailing to assist. Those sailings were taken up as quickly as we expected. But I can tell you that in one day they will probably have about 4 sailings coming to Tobago in that particular day. We also spoke to Caribbean Airline, and they are in the process now of putting together some services that will be off. It won't be as quickly as we expect, but it will be later down. They will be able to give you some feedback on those extra services that they will put in place to treat with their folks coming across Tobago. I know it's a really bumper weekend because we have Diwali first. We have that long weekend with Diwali going straight into the Tobago Carnival weekend. So it's a big weekend. What we are asking folks to do is to come to Tobago earlier and don't wait, everybody waiting for their Wednesday or Thursday to come across. We're asking you to come earlier. Spend the entire week. It's a great week. Spend the entire week. We have activities for you for the entire week. So come across earlier so that everyone don't be waiting to get on board on Thursday or Friday, because those days will be fully booked. So we're asking you to book a little earlier. Take the week off, take 2 more days and make it a long weekend, an extremely long weekend, the 7 days from Sunday to Sunday. There are lots of activities on the island. The promoters, the calendar of events is really packed. Lots of events. In one day, there's probably 8 events I saw, checking on my calendar. So I know it's going to be a bumper carnival. And again, we will be emphasizing on Carl and the Port Authority to what extra they can give. We squeeze the port already. Now we're going to tell Carl, listen to me, we need to do something. Move your resources accordingly. It's a busy weekend for us. October is going to be one of the prime for us. There's Blue Food happening in October. There's the Diwali long weekend, and there's also Tobago Carnival. So, Carl, you have to move your resources accordingly, and I expect all your folks to be on the ground to make Tobago Carnival a success.
Excellent, and I may take you up on that suggestion to take those days off in between, right? But the thing about it is, persons don't plan for a carnival a week or 2 before carnival. So even as those conversations are happening currently with Caribbean Airlines, there needs to be a response soon, because giving us some extra flights 1 week before or 2 weeks before, when persons didn't book costumes, they didn't book a place to stay, and now we already have places being full to capacity. How do we strike that balance between saying, okay, yes, we want to put those things in place, but those things need to be done ASAP?
Correct, and you're correct. And going forward, we will all want to have the conversation with Carl as part of the planning team, so that Carl be in the conversation, the Port Authority be in the conversation, so that when we put in the promotional folks putting the packages together, we can tell Carl, okay, we got to move, whether we're going to move 5,000 folks on a particular couple of days, or as the case may be, that you will be able to have the necessary infrastructure in place. I know Carl is struggling now. As we can hear, Carl wasn't making any profit. So I know they're trying to find the most profitable route and move in a possible way that they can minimize expenses. But again, they did meet out to us, and I'm happy that they're listening to us, and I know they will put something in place to treat with what we are in front of us. Going forward, we hope to have Carl as part of a conversation. So when we're talking about Carnival, Tobago Carnival, because you have to get across to Tobago from Trinidad and from the diaspora to move across, the conversation must be there. And if Carl, for some reason, cannot meet the require, then we will now have to probably, like what we did last time, I remember a couple of years ago, with Neil Wilson, where we rented and leased an aircraft to assist in the air bridge. We may have to do something like that, because if the capacity that we want to move across to Tobago or into Tobago is Carl cannot handle us, then we, the planning people, the person in the planning stages, will have to think about leasing an aircraft to just bring folks across, like what we did many years ago, I remember, in dealing with the air bridge.
Excellent. Let's talk about the quality of service when persons actually get over here for Carnival. Being within the chamber, there's that responsibility to ensure that some businesses are coming up to standard. Because it's one thing to get persons to come to Tobago, and then it's another thing when they come and they have a poor experience and they never want to return. What are the conversations that are happening within the business sector to ensure that at least there's a boost in service offering during this time when the island is full to capacity?
We have been speaking with our members, and we encourage all of them, all of Tobago, all of who is involved in Carnival, that to look at their customer service. We spoke to our members, and we have identified a couple shortfalls. We know that customer service is not a big thing. It's a big thing for us, but it's not a big thing for some folks. But it's important that we recognize that a repeat customer is always a good customer. And we have put in place, as we started in the chamber, we started the mentorship program. And customer service was one of the topics that we would talk about in mentoring folks to understand how important customer service definitely is. But I can say to you that at our meeting, we have our general meeting tomorrow, where we're going to emphasize to our members and the public alike, the business public, that treating our customers coming across for the carnival, we want them to treat with a level of service that is beyond the other. When I say that, I meant that treating you coming into the airport, from picking you up from the airport, taking you to the villa or the guest house or the hotel, and just having clean fun throughout the carnival period. We look at, there were some folks talking about even at the gas station, where they go at the gas station and the level of service they get at the gas station. There was some talking about the level of service they get at some restaurants. When you go to the restaurants, and then we could see the level of service that some of them give to you. So we are asking our business owners, take full advantage of what the Chamber, the Tobago Division have to offer in terms of customer service, and pair with us, and so that we could assist you in delivering the better service for the customers.
All right. Is the business sector satisfied with what is happening surrounding Carnival in Tobago?
Well, there are opportunities. Phoenix said there are opportunities. And I know after each carnival, we always have that that postmortem to find out, what happened, what the ins and outs are. But we see there are opportunities, and we're working on them. What I see happening in this space, because I was there at the launch, and there was some grant funding that the TTPS was giving to folks involved in the carnival. And those grant funding, again, a lot of folks depend on the grant funding, and it's something that you're not supposed to really depend on. The grant funding is for the smaller micro businesses, get you going. And I think after 1 or 2 years of grant funding, you're supposed to pass that stage where you don't need grant funding. Because if you're in business, you ought to be making a profit. You can't be in business just for, again, unless it's a non-profit organization. But if you're having grant funding and you got grant 1 year, year 1, you got grant funding year 2, I think then you're supposed to move to the next stage where you don't need that and leave that for some other business to take up. Because every year, some people just depending on that, just want that money from the THA. And that's another good practice as a business person. So we're asking all those small business people, all who are involved in Carnival, the vendors, the logistics people, the transport people, and seeking that funding, because they're going to be they're going to be some funding that the THA, they did announce that there will be some funding for all business involved in Carnival. It's not only the guys who are doing the costume and all of that, but the other folks around. So the vendors and all the logistics people, the taxi drivers, they're all going to be able to access this funding. But year 2 or year 3, I don't want you to be coming back looking forward to that funding. You're supposed to be at a stage where your business is able to grow, and you don't need to depend on the THA. Right? The THA is not into that kind of business, and I think we as business people have to understand that. The THA is there to navigate and to do other things in the enabling environment, but not to give you funding for you to continue. If it's a grant funding, you get it initially, then after that, you need to get your business to the next step.
I totally understand. And even as the private sector is being encouraged to take hold of this carnival and take charge of it, similarly to how we see carnival being run in Trinidad, and have the bands and the organizations and the promoters and the events really taking control of the festival. What do you think is needed to remove such reliance on the Festival Commission and tourism as it pertains to the festival? Because you hear a person saying, well, the division is responsible, or the company, the Tobago Festival Commission is responsible for the success of the festival. But everyone has a part to play in the success of the festival. Every Tobagoan, and specifically when we look at the promotion and the marketing of the festival, when businesses market packages specifically focused towards Tobago Carnival, they are contributing towards Carnival marketing. It's not just that the division puts out flyers and they put out billboards, and everywhere you go, you see Tobago Carnival, being branded throughout the island. But every time a guest house says, okay, well, we have a special on rooms for Carnival, or a rental company says, well, rent 3 days and you get day 4 day half price off for Carnival. That's Tobagoanians coming together to promote the festival. Talk to us about that.
And you're correct. I see private sector taking over the Tobago Carnival. We can't leave it to the THA. The THA is not into the business of Carnival. The THA is in the enabling business to give us the environment so that we can grow. So I'm appealing to the private sector in all spheres. So let us come and let us take the carnival and move the carnival to the next level. The carnival is supposed to spread over. I will prefer it to be that whole of October. there's a nice build-up. So this, 1st of October, we should have that build-up going into the Carnival. And not just waiting for this that particular weekend on the 25th or 26th. So we're supposed to have a nice build-up going through, and all the promoters, all the different events spread across that 30 odd days of in October, that we can really push the festival forward, and not just looking for that 3 days. Because what will happen is that we will have a lot of events, and one day we may have about 8 events and not spreading it across the whole October. So I think the October could be a nice period or month, so that we can spread the Carnival across. And the business sector now can look at opportunities throughout that whole October, whether it's, as you mentioned, specials on rooms, specials on even going back shopping. You may have promotions based on shopping. You may raffle a costume, and all these other things you're supposed to be looking forward to throughout that whole period of October, and let it make a big impact going forward. But again, as I said, the private sector is the best person to handle the Tobago Carnival. And if we look at events, other carnivals across the region, or even in the world, we look at Nottingham Carnival, we look at Toronto Carnival just concluded, and if you look at how the private sector plays a very main interest, is not the government, the private sector plays a very important role in those carnivals abroad, and it's something like that we must look at and understand the formula they use, and getting the private sector involved in the carnival and developing the carnival.
Understood. We want to shift gears a bit, because even as we look at the business sector locally, the issue of foreign exchange still persists. We saw early this year and last year where there were some huge restrictions on the availability of forex currency on credit cards for private individuals and for businesses. Has there been any change on that front so far? We hear persons complaining, but from this side of the chamber, you have the conversations with the banks and everyone. Has there been any positive change? And if not, what is the chamber now advocating for as it pertains to this?
Well, we see over the weekend, there was a list, Exim Bank shows all the companies who access Forex throughout the period, and we see they said the drugs and food was the highest. And we see some of the big companies, the big ones, the small ones nowhere there. So the small ones are out of it. So you're running a small boutique in Tobago, or even a small business here, a retail or reselling business, you don't have access to Forex. So you were left out the game. And that's what we were telling to the government and Exim Bank at the time. What about the small man? You only see, because all those people I seen is 20 million and all kind of number. I ain't seen a little guy in Tobago who running a saloon or running a clothing business and trying to get Forex, because he normally travels and have to purchase stuff from abroad, or even a small light manufacturing who have to buy basic materials abroad and need the Forex. I'm not seeing those people on that list. So we were asking them to do something for the small business in Tobago. Now as they cut the credit card down to 2005, and I don't know what 2005 can give you as a business person, that really cannot do anything for us.
Not even as an individual?
Not even an individual. So you could imagine the pressure that we feel from the banks doing this kind of restriction. You restrict us, you go to the bank and you only could get for travel 200 US. What you can really do with 200 US? That's probably to pay the taxi, one-way taxi. From JFK to downtown Manhattan, it could cost you sometimes 35 US or even 40 US. And if that's just a taxi, that's one-way taxi just to leave from the airport. And what happened? Then you're broke. You can't do nothing after that. So because your credit card now, the limit is now, as I said, 2005. So if you book your ticket and you do other things, you pay for your hotel stay, then that's it. You're stranded in the States. So we know that, and I always advocate for, there got to be some change. Right? There's no way we sit and peg in the US on this 6.78 and 89. I always advocate for a managed float. It got to be a managed float. Right? Somewhere someone was talking about moving. Yes, it will move, but it will move in a managed way, so that inflation and other things just don't consume it and everything get heated. So a managed float means that you're going to be moving in increments very slowly, and it all will be managed, because everyone will be looking at it, central bank, the ministry, everybody will be analyzing how inflation goes. So the employment and salaries, everything going to be moved, because you've got to be managing, moving slowly. And that should have been happening, because today on the black market, US is nearly 9-1. Or even some places they're telling you based on the amount you own, you may have to pay more, right? And then the banks still stick at 6 point something, which doesn't make any sense. Even buying US, the bank buys US at 6.2 or something like that, somewhere around there. But there's a Cambio at the airport that buying US for 8-1. So what it tells you that somebody's disconnect there, some kind of disconnection is there within the sector. So we must understand that the value that a businessman is using is not that 6 point something. No way you could pin your goods when you import them at 6 point something. No way. You're probably going at 9.5 to be realistic. So all of them, I mean, trying to hold on to the 6 point something because you said, oh, it might cause this and may cause that. But if we have a managed float, I think it will be better for us.
Understood. Well, we're going to take a quick break right here and we'll be back with much more on this conversation right after this. See you soon.
The energy fill the skies. I say, thanks.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
I send in a big, dirty bun for you. Better than them. And I have a big, dirty bun for you. So you better don't run. Come up on me, say don't run. Good morning, Bacchanal. How do you do? It's very critical. Talk to you, but it's a long road. I'm going on. And I need some vibes in my life. I stay strong. Bless me with Juve. Carnival is my time.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTPS? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates, guys. This morning I have been chatting on a number of topics and matters here in studio with Mr. Curtis Williams, who is the head of the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Before the break, we were chatting a bit about the availability of Forex currency for businesses. We're going to jump ahead a bit into the mentorship program that's currently being held by the Tobago Chamber. Tell us about where that is. How can persons register? Is registration still open? And what are some of the key topics that are being discussed currently?
Yes, we launched a mentorship program couple weeks ago, and it was successful. We have a lot of folks going online on the Tobago Chamber Division website, and they're registering mentors as well as mentees. This program was meant to assist business because business always asks what I can get from the chamber. And we have realized that a lot of businesses are struggling. They are struggling with customer service. They are struggling with marketing. They are struggling with a lot of things that you just like someone who is a professional or who have been in business over a period of time experience, and they want that person to talk to. Our Monday meeting doesn't give you enough time for you to sit and chat with that person. And then sometimes the environment, the topic that you want to chat about is not conclusive for that environment. So we developed this kind of partnership. So we call it a mentorship, where we have the mentor and the mentees. So the mentor will be the person delivering to the mentees. We have the various topics. It's definitely going to be online on our web page, and you can hook up and see the different topics, and you can book yourself to go to the different sessions. And then the sessions will be hosted at the Chamber's office right here in Scarborough, and you would encourage to come down. It will be small sessions, small groups, not large groups, because we want to get the message across. It will be probably 6 to 8 persons within the group. And then the topics will be varying topics that the mentors and them will be able to treat with you. So you're having challenges. Let's give an example. You have challenges just in your business and you want to know how can I take that business to the next level. I'm having challenges with marketing my business. I'm having challenges with just pure customer service. I'm not seeing the customers I expect. Or I may having challenges with financing. And I want to raise some additional funding, but I just don't know. I'm trying to go to the bank and I don't know what to tell them. I'm more scared. I'm a small business. I don't know what to do. Then you have the mentors, the various topics, and you now could take on it and sit in class there and understand, hey, if you're going to the bank and you want to access a business loan, what are some of the basic things that you need to do? And then there's a hand-holding process. So you're not only going to leave you alone, we're going to actually help you throughout the entire process. So you'll be able to access that loan, or you'll be able to understand the concept of marketing and put you in the right space so that you can get your marketing done properly. Even up to your accounting, you may have challenges with your accounts. You don't know what to do accounts. When you hear accounts and bookkeeping, you ask, oh God, this thing is hard. I can't understand that. We will make accounting one-on-one, one-on-one. So it will be an easy process for you to understand what the accounting process is all about and how you can really put your business in a position that could be more viable to you.
Understood. Are these courses available for all businesses in Tobago, or is it specific to businesses that are members of the chamber?
And I like that question because all the courses are available to all Tobagonians, even folks in Trinidad. If you wish to come across, fine. But it's available to all business in Tobago, micro, small. We like to see the small business. I like to see the micro business. I want to see the mini mart in Charlottesville. I want to see the parlor in Roxborough. I want to see the hairdressing salon young lady. I want to see the barbers. I want to see those people. I want to see the carpenters, the fella who coming out into the digital guy who into the digital space and he want to do online business. I want to see those people, and it is absolutely free. There's no cost to it. It's absolutely free. So hence the reason why we want to see all business. Doesn't matter what type of business you are into, even the guys who are doing landscaping, even the guys who are doing, as I mentioned, the barbers. We encourage you to come down to the chamber. And if you can't register online, come down. We will be able to assist you at the chamber office in Scarborough, at the Answer McCall building. And we will be able to assist you so that you will get into this space and understand business in a real one-on-one way. And don't be intimidated. There's definitely no will be no intimidation. The chamber, although the name sounds huge, the chamber is for people like me and you. You're seeing I'm the chairman and you're seeing me, small business. And that's what the chamber is all about.
Thank you so much. When it comes to businesses building that capacity and the type of courses that the chamber is putting out there, are there any partnerships that you have running currently? Would it be with the THA or any other NGOs, organizations to really help boost the capacity of businesses?
Yeah, definitely. We are in conversation with the THA, the Division of Finance, and we must say thanks to them. Also the Division of Tourism for the assistance they have given us, and we continue asking for support because some of these programs, again, there's a cost to it, and we as business folks, we are trying to foot all these costs ourselves, and it's expensive. It's very expensive. Even the rent for our office and our membership dues is not sufficient to pay all those rent. So hence the reason why we will always ask for support. So whether we have corporate Trinidad listening to us and you're willing to, whether it's a unit trust or some of the big agencies, financial institutions, whether it's a credit union, and you're willing to sponsor certain segment of this whole business development and growth for small business, it all makes your work easy. You can imagine if I bring business up to a scratch where the financial is palatable for you, the banks to give them loan, you got a portfolio of loans coming through, and that's good for your bottom line. So we are asking you to help us. All the RBCs, the Republic, and the Scotia, the FCB, and all the new kid on the block, GMBB. We ask you to come, GMB, come in and assist us as much as you can. And so that we could build all these small businesses in Tobago that kind of scared and can't approach you guys because you look so robust. They could come to us. We were able to do the massaging and get them up to a level where they can approach you and look palatable, and they can get what kind of financing they so desire.
Excellent. But we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back with much more conversation right after this. See you soon.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Tobago Updates Television recognizes women in business. Every Thursday morning on The Morning Show, we engage with women-owned and operated businesses from right here in Tobago. We'll discover these women, their businesses, what inspired their business, their highs and their lows, and their encouragement to you. Join me, your host, Adana Kambi, this and every Thursday on The Morning Show from 7:40 a.m. as we celebrate and encourage women in business.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. This morning we have been having our conversations right here on Tobago Updates, where we've been chatting this morning with Mr. Curtis Williams, who is the chairman of the Tobago division of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Good morning and welcome back, Mr. Williams. Now, in the news in 90 seconds this morning, we heard about some of the incidences that took place out on the Nylon Pool, whether it was that one boating incident or the 18-year-old person who was stabbed down at Storby. How do these incidences affect the Tobago tourism product and business persons that are within the tourism and service area?
Well, as we noted, these incidents have a direct effect on our tourism. It's something that we have to manage, and I know every time we have these incidents, then everybody rush and try to do this and try to do that. We're always reactive and not proactive. And we knew from before that we spoke about the reef and the patrolling of the reef by the marine park, as we want to call it. The police doesn't have the resources to go out there to do their patrol. Neither than the Coast Guard. It seems like the Coast Guard, it doesn't have inshore, smaller vessels to do inshore patrols. And then the THA now, they had to take up the slack. So I knew in time gone by, there was a THA Marine division that was to patrol the reef area. What we see happening in this space, I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, I was at Pigeon Point, and I see some of these boats coming across, and they're all loaded with folks. They have double deckers. There's folks on top and folks below. But the folks on top, they're not evenly distributed. So the vessel is list on one side, and they're all drunk, and everybody's smoking. And I mean, they're high and drunk. Down to the captain of the vessel, he have a little glass by him drinking. So I can imagine what's going on that vessel. I mean, the reason why I can talk like this is because of my past. I've been a member of the Coast Guard for over 10 years plus. So I can tell you about these things, and I can tell you safety at sea. So when I see these things happening, then I ask myself, what's happening in the marine space? And an incident like this, unfortunately, we don't know the training of the captain of these vessels. How often are these people trained? What is the capacity of these vessels? Do they carry life rings? Do they carry the life vests? Do they understand drills on, man overboard, what to do? Their crew members, are the crew members skilled in that? The seamen that work on these vessels, are they skilled in those things? Man overboard, there's a protocol to follow. Man overboard, and then there's certain protocols you follow when you say man overboard. Captain knows the protocols, everybody alert everybody on the vessel, and the vessel do a particular thing, which is to move the vessel engine away from the person. Right? So there are certain protocols need to be followed. When is man overboard? Life ring supposed to, the man on the lookout supposed to be pointing at the guy. Life ring supposed to be going straight out to the guy overboard. Vessel engine supposed to move away from the person. All of these are protocol you learn in operating small craft. Look, I remember it a couple of years ago. And I remember it as at the back of my head. So these are things that I expect the THA, through the Food Security and the Marine Division, to be training the folks who operate these vessels at sea, these leisure crafts. They cannot be engaged just as a guest. The guests are engaging in food and drinks and smokes, because I'm talking real. This is what happens out there. You, the captain of the vessel, and your crew cannot be engaged the same way as your guests. And if they engage in this manner now, nobody knows what is going on. Nobody can function because we're all high. We just can't operate in this space like that. And it's something that we have to keep in mind. Somebody had to have a level head on the vessel, or the crew had to have a level head. So you had to have a linesman, and they must always have a lookout. You always have to have a lookout, because you have tourists on board, and the tourists come to have a good time, to go to the reef and other places. So you don't expect the tourists to be doing what I'm thinking of. The tourists here to enjoy themselves. But you, the owner of the vessel, have to secure your guests as much as possible. And you have to know what to do in times of emergency. And I don't know if all these protocols were being observed and so forth. And then coming now, treating with it, coming back to shore, there must be some kind of follow-up as to how we treat with incidents. And you know, the THA have the division, the division to treat with it. You treat with the family, you treat with the damaged person, and you treat with controlling the media. The social media was a light yesterday. It was blazing all over. You have to treat with it. Someone have to come out. And again, yes, a press release is important, but we also need to see a face. You need to see a face. When you have incidents of this nature, you need to see a face. So whether someone from the THA need to come on air one time and said, okay, we have an incident and so forth, assure all the rest of tourists on the island, assure the public that everything is under control and not a piece of paper coming out on social media, which half of us sometimes don't read. There must be something coming out. So you assure the people, hey, it is safe going on the reef. Our operators are safe. They are good guys and they know how to care for you. But I think, Chanel, those are some of the things that we need to put in place to treat with some of these incidents at the sea. We cannot continue until there's going to be a huge incident and it's going to affect us. So let us be proactive. I'm speaking to now the Marine division of the food security. Be proactive. Let's start pulling all these operators of these vessels. We've seen some new ones coming on board and some new vessels going out there. We don't know how the inspection of these vessels. We don't know the capacity of these vessels. We're not training the captains and the seamen and them. So these are things we need to put in place before, and don't wait until an incident or an accident.
Understood. You know, there used to be those reef patrols. Used to see the Coast Guard out there on the water. Do you think that that's something that this new Marine Park Management Committee has to ensure that there's more oversight? Because I believe one of the reasons why this type of behavior continues to occur is because persons know that who's going to come and do anything. But if they know that, you know, maybe every hour there's a patrol happening, or at an unexpected time, persons may be, you know, more willing to comply, knowing that there are consequences, that the boat could possibly be suspended from functioning for maybe a month or two, even 6 months, if they are not in compliance.
And you're correct. The Reef Patrol, I haven't seen them for quite some time. I knew there were times when we will have that sudden burst of the Coast Guard coming and doing what they have to do and with the police, etc., going at sea. But we're talking about the THA. Don't wait for the Coast Guard. We know that there are problems. And don't wait for the police. I think the THA, in its wisdom, they had a Marine department, I remember, and the guys and them were precepted, and they could have gone out there. I try to remember, one of them was Mr. Chance, I think his name is. I try to remember his name. But all these guys were trained, and they can go out there and address the situation. You don't have to be hostile. You don't have to carry no big guns. You just have to go out there and caution the guys. And if they don't want to listen to your caution, you can pull their permit, because they're all supposed to be registered. You can pull that registration. You can tell them, okay, we're going to escort you straight to the nearest port, and you're going to offload all your guests, and you're not going to operate until you abide to the following rules. And those are the things, and it had to be a continuous thing going. It cannot be something one-off. It had to be continuously happening in this space. And that's what we need to do. Tobago, we really can't take incidents of this nature. We are too small. We don't have the flexibility. And if something happened on the reef, something happened on no man's land, something happened on one pool, it's really going to affect all of us in the tourism. Every single one of us will be affected.
Right. And, even as we round up our discussion this morning, we spoke about a number of topics. We touched on, the availability of Forex, Carnival, capacity building for Tobago businesses, and finally, how incidents of this nature that happen on the reef affects Tobago businesses and, how we interact, not just with tourists, but among ourselves, because there has to be a line being drawn between what we do as business owners and what we allow patrons to do. What we allow the tourists, okay, they can come and have a good time on the boat, but there has to be a differentiation between what the captain does and, what the persons aboard the vessel does. I want to just touch a bit more on that Carnival, because Carnival is just a few weeks away. Again, talking about preparation for businesses for this Carnival period.
Well, I think it's everything looks like all go. The last check I make at our sector, we have a sector into the accommodation, and they were 90% filled for the October Carnival. And I know there are one and two larger plants on the island that still have some spaces. And you can look at them, but those smaller plants, even some of the villas, the guest houses, they definitely will be totally filled by now. So we are asking everyone to ensure that you make your necessary planning in place and come early, because we're all trying to come at the same time. Hence the reason why we're not getting any flights and we're not getting any space on the ferry. But because they put a lot of ceiling, as I said, additional ceiling were put in place, and there are still spaces around the island. There are a couple of hotels that still could do with some more bookings, and I know it's going to be a really, really hectic Carnival. I'm asking the patrons, I'm asking also the vendors to come out, be safe, do all that you have to do to ensure that we have a safe and really wonderful time throughout the Carnival. I'm also appealing to the law enforcement, do what you have to do to ensure the safety of all our patrons. I don't want to hear about any accident or incident. You ensure that you are here in your numbers. The commissioner, I know he's probably listening, or his proxy might be listening to us. We at the Tobago Division, the business community of the island, we are asking for enough law enforcement to be on the island to ensure that we have a safe Carnival. All right, so if we have to charter a vessel to bring you across, bring enough manpower on the island, because we know the Scarborough and the other stations are undermanned and they need that extra manpower. So we are asking you, we the business community, we will try our best to see how we could facilitate you guys, whether they're through the THA or other agencies, to ensure that you could get accommodation for the law enforcement, so that, because I know you will come in your numbers, whether it's 300-400, you will be here in your numbers, and you could reach out to us and we will see our best we can assist as much as possible. We just want to ensure that we have a safe and beautiful Carnival. I know it's going to be one of the best that we ever had since, so hence the reason why I'm appealing to you guys. Also, the fire service, you need to be there too as well, because it's important that we don't have no kind of a disaster on that end. So the fire service, come out in your numbers. I know you're lacking of equipment. You've been complaining all the time. Yes, I understand that. But at this time, I'm just asking you to be aware and come out and support us.
Right. And, even as we talk about that, one of the things that I want to ask you is that for the next Carnival, there's a greater level of advocacy with corporate Trinidad and Tobago to have more of those promotions done surrounding Tobago Carnival. Now, when there's that Trinidad Carnival in February, all corporate entities have a Carnival promotion, from the KFCs to the B-Mobiles to the Digicels, you name it. Everyone has something going on for Carnival to promote their brand, whether it's with the selling of water or energy drinks. You see everyone at the top of their game, knowing that this is a prime time on the marketing calendar. How do we engage corporate Trinidad and Tobago on that same level for Tobago Carnival? And can the Chamber facilitate that type of relationship with Tobago to have corporate also as excited? Where are the KFC Carnival deals for Tobago Carnival?
Well, and I like that because at my business, I started a Tobago Carnival deal. If you go there, you see a poster put up and I have drinks, very reduced price. So I'm asking corporate to look at it. They are our partners. Some of them are our members and we will encourage them. I know probably now might be a little too late, but next year for sure, we definitely will encourage them to take that whole of October and start to put in all those Ds that you mentioned, whether it's the Blue Waters, whether it's the KFC, whether it's the Subway, and all of them to come into this space and start to hype the Carnival going forward.
Exactly.
So we have the excitement brewing throughout the month of October, going straight into the Carnival.
Right, and we're asking for that to start, from the July period, coming straight down July, August, September. You have that type of, and then what that does, it reduces the burden on the THA to spend millions of dollars on marketing the Carnival. Because if everybody and the parents talking about it, and this is the time where you can get things at a reduced cost because it's Carnival, then the marketing budget is reduced.
That's correct. And I like that idea. I know you're a marketing specialist, so I love that idea. And it's something we will talk about tomorrow at our meeting. How can we take the Carnival? How can we market the Carnival as private sector? How can we aid in getting this Carnival to be one of the best in the region?
And the business sector benefits from it as well.
That's correct.
Well, we want to thank you so much, Mr. Williams, for being here this morning and representing the Tobago Division of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce and letting us know about all the work that you are doing to help boost the capacity of businesses here on the island of Tobago. And remember, you do not have to be a member of the chamber in order to benefit from the courses that they have available. All you have to do is go to the Tobago Chamber website and you would see a tab there that says take one of our courses. You click on it and you will see all the different options that you can be a part of. Click join our wait list and you'll be a part of that. So there are courses available in the fundamentals of marketing for small businesses, how to write a digital ad that actually sells, how to price for your service-based business without calculations that make your head hurt, and a number of other things that may be added to that list of courses very soon. So you don't want to miss out on that. You want to be a part of that. I mean, it doesn't take a lot for you to just take the time out and dedicate to boosting your business and your pricing strategy and your marketing. This is your opportunity to do so. But guys, unfortunately, this is where we end the morning show this morning. And we want to thank you so much for being a part of this morning's discussions. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Chanel Felix, and have a great day.
To a brand new dawn, and as the passion start around.